I'm curious, what did you think when you first got hold of this play? Because it just seems like you see a story like this and you go, I have to.
Well, I had a little bit of a history with Delia and her memoir, Left on 10th, because we had sort of a meet cute moment when our dogs were sniffing each other on 10th Street.
Oh, wow.
We live in the same neighborhood. And I had just written a book that had come out, but it was still during the pandemic, so I wasn't able to do a book tour. And this lady with her dog looked up and saw it was me, and she said, "I loved your book." And I said, "Thank you so much for reading it."
Right.
And then she took her mask down and she said, "My name's Delia Ephron." So that's how I met her.
Wow.
And she said,
Wow.
"I actually have a memoir coming out. Can I drop it off with your doorman?" And I said, "Oh my God." And so she put her email and her phone number, and we started a friendship. You know, went out to dinner with her husband, my husband, and we have a lot of friends in common. And then I guess 3 years later, she emailed me and said, "I wrote my memoir into a play. I would love it if you would play me."
Wow.
It was just timing, and also I find her story so hopeful and magical and beautiful. And then when Peter Gallagher and Susan Strom, like it just all came together in this just beautiful melting pot of joy and kindness, and at such a great time in my life, and I think a great time for the world. And the idea that, you know, just because we get older doesn't mean we're done.
Yes.
In some cases, it means we've just begun. And that's their story. And it's really a story for everyone.
I love the relationship that you had before with her, because I think that probably means, does that put more pressure on you when you're there on stage, or do you just feel her because you know her so well now? It's a little bit different.
It doesn't anymore. In the beginning it did, because I felt so passionate about her memoir when I read it. I was so impressed where she went with it. She was so raw and vulnerable and truthful in that memoir. It was quite breathtaking to read it. And so I said to her when she sent me the play, and I read it right away, within an hour, and it had all the emotions I went through as a reader, just reading her memoir. And I said, "Delia, I love you so much, and this play is so important, that let's do a reading of it first to make sure I'm the girl for you."
Wow.
And there's no ego attached.
Yeah.
This has to be done right, because it's such an important story. From so many different perspectives, from the medical world. I mean, we have so many transplant patients every night. We have doctors, we have surgeons. I mean, one night, the entire Weill Cornell Medical Hospital has bought out the entire evening.
Oh, wow.
In November, I think it will be. This is giving hope to transplant patients. It's giving hope to caregivers. It's giving hope to parents, to children, right? Because
that's a different level.
At all different levels. And then on top of it is this idea of second chances of love when you've lost a spouse.
And so many people will, you know, sadly go through that. I watched my father lose 2 spouses. You know, he got remarried after 25 years, and then he lost his second spouse. And I looked at this and I was like, wow. And, you know, and I see him like looking for that next hope, which is amazing.
And there
at
should
84.
be a next chapter.
Yes.
And your spouse that has passed would want that for you.
Yes. Yes.
And strangely, in this story, when she reconnects with Peter Rutter, unbeknownst to her, because she doesn't have any memory of it, her sister Nora set her up on a blind date with him when she was 18, that she doesn't remember, but he does. And his spouse has just died, and her spouse has just died. And she had gone through this week of hell with Verizon because they crashed her internet and she couldn't get anyone on the phone, so she wrote this hilarious op-ed in the New York Times. And of course it went viral and everyone read it. And out of the blue, this man says, "Actually, we knew each other years ago."
Isn't it unbelievable how things happen?
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
Not only did he reconnect with her over the death of their spouses, but with Nora's blessing, who Delia was very close with.
Already. There's so many layers to it. I want to go back to the medical one, because I think that that's something that there's like a whole nother layer of who you're connecting with at that point. I mean, beyond people with second chances. I mean, it's another type of second chance.
It really is, and I have implored Delia. She's shy. to come out the stage door with me and Peter and
That'd be
Kate McCluggage and Peter Francis James, who play all the other characters. They're like this incredible Greek chorus. Because the four of us get to hear what the audience was feeling during it, and so many of them are transplant patients, transplant nurses, doctors,
Wow.
you know, people who have lost people to cancer, and they all want to meet Delia. And I said, Delia, you're their hero. You've got to come out the stage door. And she's like, oh, I couldn't. So instead, what I've been doing is saying, I've been getting people's emails, and then I send them to Delia.
Oh,
and then
that's
she's
great.
been connecting to them that way, which has been really wonderful.
That's so amazing that
Yeah.
to bring that. I mean, that brings it all to life for those people too. It's not just that they leave and they've watched a performance, that they
Absolutely.
they feel her in a different way.
Yeah.
That's really special. I wanted to ask you this about rom-com, because it's not really a rom-com.
Correct.
Right?
It is in
It
that
is,
there's
and it's
so
not.
much romantic
Right.
comedy in it, but there is this moment in the play where my character Delia is just, it's called graft versus host disease, which what happens is when you get the stem cell transplant, your body is fighting it. And graft versus host, meaning the host, your body is taking in what they're putting in and fighting it. And it's brutal. And she begs Peter to let her go. She was in the hospital 100 days and he never left her side. Everything we're doing on stage is is true. And she begs him to let her go. And he just looks at her and he says, no. And it is an incredibly emotional scene. I tear up talking about it because it's just such a beautiful human moment when you have someone fighting for you and saying, actually, it's not your time yet. We have more time on this planet together. And then she makes it. And it's this overwhelming joy. So yes, it's a romantic comedy. Bring tissues,
Yes.
I would say, because there are moments where you're going to cry out of joy, fear, love.
And you're going to see something, I assume, if you've gone through any type of loss, if you've gone through
It
any
connects to everybody.
everybody somehow.
Everybody.
No matter what it is.
Yeah, and you really feel that universal connection in a theater, and it's what I've missed so much.